brakes, and I wanted to update some, well, I wanted to update some things on the suspension on the 4Runner as well. Remember this guy? When we installed this thing, the bumper with the winch is approximately 150 pounds. And I was running 884 OME light coils up front. And after I added the weight, well, there was quite a bit of droop. Actually, originally I was running 889 medium duty coils, OME coils in the back, but a while back switched from those to the 898 heavy duty coils to help accommodate all the added weight that I had from the fridge, the drawers with the storage, and when I was towing a trailer. And actually, without the trailer, it didn't really sag, but if you remember, like whenever I'd add the trailer, it would actually start to sag a little bit in the back. So you remember a few weeks back whenever I had decided to sell my 4Runner and then changed my mind? Before I'd gone through that entire process, I had actually spent a couple of weeks preparing to get myself up to that point, and I had already ordered some replacement parts so that the new owner wouldn't have to fix some of these things up. I ordered 885 medium duty coils for the front so that I could have coils that were more appropriate for the added weight that I had on the front of the vehicle, and I actually ordered replacement OME shocks for the rear. Oh, and as a side note, I'm running OME, the OME 3-inch lift kit all the way around. It's a yellow kit. It's about 900 bucks. You can get it on Toy Tech, and it's a pretty good starter thing. I think I've got some bigger updates to my suspension coming soon, but that's what I'm running today. Oh, and as a side note, the reason why I had to replace the rear shocks is because apparently I smacked this bushing right here on something, and well, it knocked the whole assembly apart. Okay, back to brakes. Technically, this is completely biased. Let me explain. I did not pay for these brakes. Sequence sent me these brakes as part of a promotional sponsorship deal, but they didn't approach me. I approached them. And the reason why is because, well, I don't know about you, but the way I like to buy things is I like to ask my friends and people that I know what they're doing and what they're running and what their experiences are with whatever it is that they're buying or using or whatever. Think of it as like reading consumer reviews, which I hate reading reviews, by the way. But people that I know and trust, I love hearing their feedback on what they like and what they don't like about certain types of things. I know several people that are running brake products from Sequence. I've talked to them over a pretty good amount of time and had kind of already decided that when the time came for me to replace my brakes, that I would reach out to Sequence and see if they had any, to see if they wanted to work with me, which is the case. I haven't really put enough miles on them yet to give you a very qualified opinion on them, but so far I really like them. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they perform over the next 60,000 miles or so, and of course I'll be sure to keep you updated. That was about 2 weeks ago, before I had the new brakes and the new coils installed in the vehicle. Keep in mind, this is by no means a scientific study on how well these brakes are doing compared to the old brakes. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. This is just me trying something out and trying to figure out if I like something over the old thing. I didn't measure this off. I didn't really determine how long it was going to take me to approximately start the braking process and stop the braking process. I don't know how long it took me to go from whatever speed I was going to zero. By the way, I was only going about 40 miles an hour. At Sequence's recommendation, I'm running their Premium Sport Series rotor, slotted, not cross-drilled, and their Posi Quiet extended wear pads. The whole idea here was to put on a product that was going to be better than the stock or factory performance. Not that I felt like the factory braking system lacked any at all. I don't really know what I'm looking for here, but I needed new brakes, so I figured I'd try something different. I measured it out. That was a little too close. I wasn't coming that close up here. I thought I was gonna run you over. there's a lot more bite than stock. I mean, let's face it, this isn't a sports car. I don't travel at high rates of speed. I'm not really doing aggressive driving, unless you count all, off-road, all-terrain type driving aggressive. I don't really consider it aggressive. I don't know that I really feel like I need super increased braking power whenever I'm in off-road conditions. But I guess I come from the mindset of anything better than stock is better. That's actually the wrong way to put it. Upgrading performance parts like brakes or exhaust or things like that above stock oftentimes nets you better results. I feel like that's not always necessarily the case with Toyota. Sort of the common opinion is that Toyota standard factory parts are very, very strong, robust, and about as good as you can get. But I figured with something like brakes, it couldn't hurt to try a higher performance option. I mean, 90% of my driving, it's highway and around town. 10% of my driving, I wish it was more like 50% of my driving, is off pavement, out in the wilderness, out in the woods, and doing overlanding, camping activities. And really, when I'm doing that, I'm going so slow anyway that, aggressively braking is not so much of an issue. But I can tell you this, I've put about 2,000 miles on these brakes so far, which is far from being able to give you a very good qualified opinion of them. But so far, I really like them. Okay, so about the suspension. Like I said earlier, I'm running a 3-inch lift kit from OME, which is short for Old Man Emu. This is a suspension product from ARB, and the reason why I'm running it, actually, it's kind of a funny story, and I think that I've talked about this before, but it was technically the first mod that I did. And I sometimes like to keep an eye, I'm a little rusty on this, I haven't done it in a while, but sometimes I like to keep an eye on the forums to see what is being, to see what people are selling. And this kit, I had kind of already partially decided that this was a pretty good beginner kit to go with, and it's supposed to give you about a 3-inch lift all around. I didn't measure before, I didn't measure after, I didn't measure after I put the bumper on. I can measure right now and tell you where it's at. In fact, I think we should do that in a couple of minutes, but that's basically what I'm running. It's about $900, I think it's $888 from Toy Tech. You might be able to find it cheaper someplace else. I honestly have no idea. And I did end up buying the medium duty coils for the front and the shocks in the back, brand new directly from them. And I ended up getting the heavy duty coils from our buddy Michael Barbera, from Broken Spoke Overland. I think it's lost in camp now. Several months back, he had them in his garage and was just trying to get rid of them, and he sold them to me for next to nothing. I didn't know anybody that was trying to unload some medium duty coils, so I went ahead and bought them new. But if you're looking for a really good beginner suspension setup out there that is not gonna break the bank, I recommend this setup. I've ran it for about 1.5 years now, and I don't know, it's been fine. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't have anything to compare it to yet, but I have some suspension updates coming soon. But for the last 1.5 years, this has been just fine. Let's get some height measurements. This is the driver front. From the ground, it's not exactly level. This isn't from the ground to the bottom of the fenders, 37.5. From the center of the hub, it is 22.5. This is front passenger. From the ground to the fender, 38.5. Wasn't it 37.5 on the other one? And then from the center of the fender, or from the center of the hub to the fender, it's about 23. If you ask me, this is kind of a waste. I want to redo this on pavement. All right, this should be, well, this should be a more accurate measurement. Passenger front, 38.5 from the ground to fender, and 23 from the center of the hub to fender. Driver front, 38 inches from ground to fender, and 23 inches from center of hub to fender. This is gonna be back driver, 39.25 from ground to fender, and 24 from center of hub to fender. And this is gonna be passenger back, right at 40 ground to fender, and from center of hub to fender right at 24. All right. And that concludes my presentation on my new brakes from Sequence. Thanks for working with me, guys. Oh, and also the suspension updates that we did. If you're new here, my name's Jason Kirchie. Subscribe. If you're not new here, and you've been watching us for a while, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for watching if you're new here as well. And we'll see you in the next video.